Why is the crypto market falling? What's the reason behind the crashes? And what trades do I plan to take throughout the day today? First, let's go through the reason for these moves to understand what's happening. We see that in the last few hours, Bitcoin has started to have a downward move. At the same time, the S&P made a similar move. Only gold made a move to the downside an hour later. Actually, the reason for these, some of the reasons, because there are several reasons behind it, but one of the reasons is Microsoft opening with a gap down, something that brought many problems to the market. The indices started to fall, and from the moment the indices started to fall, the crypto market was automatically affected too, right? Besides this, there's also the issue with last night's FOMC meeting. The fact that Jerome refuses to cut interest rates and doesn't intend to in the near future. Again, another negative factor that draws these moves from the market. Good. What do we do in such situations? Because I'm interested in how I can profit from such moves. If I were a trader, I would do the following. Of course, I am a trader, but I was saying it as if. If I were a trader, what would I do? First and foremost, we have to look. What is the price direction and what is the market direction? At the moment, Bitcoin will help us in making decisions, including on other coins. We see that in the current situation, we have a downward move that everyone knows about. Of course, it's a downtrend, a bearish flag formed here that was broken, and now we are outside of this bearish flag. So the main move we're following is a downward move. Good. What else interests me on the daily chart? On the daily chart, I also noticed the following important zone. This support zone, which is currently being retested, because I'm interested in trading between zones. If this move has been produced already, there are some people who have profited from it. If I were to stay on the daily time frame, I would look at the following aspect. Okay, will a formation happen to be created here? So that based on this formation, I can also take a sell trade after the breakout. This is for whoever trades on the daily chart. If we do intraday, we expand on a smaller time interval. Let's look once more to draw this zone too. Actually, now I'll place it like this as it's the zone that interests me. And we see that we're starting to have a potential consolidation, right? If the price stays for a few more hours and this consolidation becomes more and more evident, at that moment, it'll help me identify the place where I want to enter after the breakout on the retest and place my stop loss above this structure. And I'll target a 1 to 2 trade because that's how I like to proceed. I go for 1 to 2 trades. This is the only scenario I want to follow throughout the day to day in the crypto market. If I want to trade other coins, I'll take a look in parallel at Bitcoin dominance to check the following aspect. In case Bitcoin breaks through that area and goes below the support zone and it starts a downward move while Bitcoin dominance starts an upward move, that means that at that moment, that setup might be much more advantageous on an altcoin because an altcoin, another coin, might depreciate more than Bitcoin. Yeah, let's say, for example, that I'd look at Ethereum, and in case I see that move happening, I prefer to execute the trades on Ethereum since if the moves occur, as I mentioned, Ethereum might depreciate more percentage wise. But as I told you, Bitcoin needs to enter the short setup. And of course, Bitcoin dominance also needs to have the upward move. If I see it's on a downward move, the Bitcoin dominance, at that moment, I prefer to execute on Bitcoin. Let me know in the comments if this is clear enough. Now, when it comes to investments, as I want to make a few mentions on this topic as well, and I'll also tell you how. You can get a free course with the strategies that I use when it comes to trading, how I place my entry, stop loss, and take profit based on the chart patterns. But let's discuss the investment part quickly. Currently, from my point of view, because we see Bitcoin in the current situation is still in an uptrend. Yeah, we have clearly rising lows. We have these rising lows, rising highs. What I'm watching right now is strictly this pattern because we've never had a reversal pattern during this upward move. Therefore, because this high is still above the previous one, I consider that we're still in an uptrend. But I see that right now, is being created. Head and shoulders. And we already see that here. We could also consider the right shoulder, which doesn't reach the previous shoulder. This would be a bearish pattern. And from the moment it's broken, yeah. and it also went below the area. This one, that's going to be the point where I personally will be firmly convinced that we're in a bear market. From my point of view, in this area where we are now, we're still in a trend, an uptrend. And that's why I want to see if this trend truly gets invalidated. That's exactly why I'm not worried about all the investments I've made recently. But I'm simply waiting to see how things develop and to see what other decisions I'm thinking of taking in the future. But I personally made investments according to the USDT dominance in this area. Where I saw it was rejected 3 times in the past, and 3 times it had a downward move, which is why I made a decision in this area with the idea that if there's a new downward move, all the other coins will appreciate. Another important thing I want to track, because many people right now are scared of what's happening in the market, is gold. We see that gold, yes, is clearly in a very aggressive move. It's even in a parabolic move. But I want to see when the money will move from gold into the crypto space. And so we look at the Bitcoin gold chart. Here we see that we clearly have a very aggressive move to the downside. And what I'm watching for in the coming days is to see if this move will show a reversal pattern. Right now, I see that I only have continuation patterns. Yes, I see sideways movement, a new impulse, sideways movement, a new impulse. Now we have sideways movement again, which I see had a false breakout, which leads me to think it will have a new valid breakout to the downside, meaning we're entering a short window in the coming days where gold will outperform Bitcoin. But we shouldn't get impatient. That's just how things go in the world of investing. We have to wait, and surely better days will come for us. And for those of you who want to get that free course, it doesn't cost you anything. If you want to use my affiliate link for BingX, that way you'll also help me build the largest community. Big Pump Theory on BingX. And inside this course, you'll have all my strategies related to technical analysis, how I plan each execution, how I place the entry, stop loss, take profit, and of course, how I make my daily trading plan. Plus, the journal that helps me self evaluate, become better from my own executions, to figure out what I can do to become better and better and better. Plus, if you use this affiliate link, as I said, you also get certain bonuses if you meet these conditions here. And you'll see in the description, right below the affiliate link, there's an email address where after you've created your account, you email me with your BingX UID, and I'll give you access to the course. All that's left for me is to wish you a wonderful day ahead and success in everything you plan. And of course, last but not least, smile more often because it doesn't cost you anything.